In order to convert a van, should you buy it, build it, or another option that I'm going to talk about? So there's basically three options that I've been considering myself. I've decided in the end, so you already know, to build a truck, not a van. However, I did consider also the option to buy one. So there's a few elements that I want to talk about that are really important that you keep in mind, that you think about. All right, there's three things. So the elements we're going to talk about is about the money, we're going to talk about the time, and we're going to talk about the things that you actually learn. Now, first things first, all right? What about buying one? I mean, it's super easy. You search online from your couch, wherever you are, and you just search whether it is a van, whether it is a camper van, like a mobile home, whether it is a truck. There's not that many trucks pre-built available. But there are quite a lot of options, especially as well if you go to events. There's for sure several vans which are ready-made, right for you, and it's super easy and super handy. The thing is that you have to pay, of course, a price. And time-wise, super easy because you just have to scroll and surf and maybe go and see some, but easy. And you do not learn much. Like, you learn a little bit about like how the different elements that you have. And I did consider buying one, but then I thought, nah, it's not exactly what I wanted. Especially as well that I decided the van was a bit too small, and so I wanted to go bigger. So I said, okay, so buying one straight away like that, finished, nah. Often you also do not really know what's inside. Like, if at some point you have an issue, yeah, good luck finding it, okay? So then you actually have the second option. Now, the second option, in my opinion, is not straight away building it. It's the thing in between. The thing in between is basically where you buy a base vehicle and then you actually make or pay someone to build it for you. Now, there are quite a lot of companies out there in the meanwhile, and they're still growing. There's more and more companies like this. Often people who actually built one themselves and then decided they actually love it and they decided to do more of that. So that's basically a combination. Now, it's of course very nice in that sense that you can brainstorm together with them what you want. You can tell them exactly what you want, but you don't have to put the time in yourself to build it. So basically, if you look at money-wise, you are gonna pay a lot of money because you're paying, of course, first your base vehicle, but then you're also paying not just the materials that you have to buy either way, but also all their working hours. Time-wise, usually I think they take around 3 to 4 months because I've been contacting several of them. Now, it depends a little bit on their planning as well. You can't just say, okay, tomorrow I have my base vehicle, please start. It's, yeah, you have to fit in the agenda, of course. Learning-wise, I do believe that you do learn quite a lot of things because you have to think about the design. So you do have to make decisions on are you going to heat with diesel, with gas? I'm going to make a video about that as well. Or electrical cooking. Like, you have to make several decisions so you do understand what van life is all about and what goes in there as well. Of course, you pay the hours, which means that you are not doing it yourself. So your learning curve is not huge, but already bigger than just buying a pre-made van. And then we come to basically the third option, which is the one that I decided to do in the end, which is basically building it yourself. Now, building it yourself, money-wise, if you choose your materials right, if you do a lot of research on which big elements like solar panels and all those things to buy, then potentially you're gonna be cheaper off. Okay, so that might be the cheapest solution. Of course, it depends on what you choose. If you decide to take only fancy things and fancy materials and all the best of everything, then probably you're gonna be the most expensive. But let's consider that you do think about money, and so that you're gonna be cheaper off. Now, time-wise, it's gonna be very time-consuming, which I know because I thought I was gonna do my design in 2 weeks, and I'm already 3 months and a half further, and I'm still thinking about like exactly the design, like where to place my windows and all of that. So it is a very time-consuming process. However, on the other hand, it's a super interesting process because you learn so much. Like, if I see where I started initially with the idea of potentially buying one and then thinking, okay, maybe I'm gonna pay somebody to do it, to now the decision that I'm actually doing everything myself, it's a massive learning curve. So basically for you to decide, I think you really have to consider the elements that I told you in the first place. So I made a little summary. I'm not sure if you're going to read it on my screen, but basically, so you have buying it, build plus buy plus build, and build. So there you see, so money wise, basically on the buying element, buying it's, well, let's say start with the cheapest, building it yourself. Then you have buying it, because yeah, often it's not necessarily the most newest one unless you buy really the newest one made, but okay, in general, right? And then the most expensive one is when you're paying someone to do so. Time wise, easiest time, of course, is just buying it, because you only have to scroll and go and see things, and that's it. Then time-wise, buying and building, because you do have to brainstorm with them to actually make the design. And then the most time-consuming one is, of course, the building process. Now, if we then look at the learning curves, I put the learning curves down here, right? So buying a little learning curve, like, you know, the different models, like, okay, fine, you understand, you know what features to ask for. When you are building, like buying and building it, so paying someone to build it for you, you are going to learn a lot, because you have to go through all the different designs. You do have to think about all those materials that they ask. They probably have their favorite designs as well, or materials. But yeah, anyway, you are going to learn stuff, but then you learn so much more when you build it. Now, then we have an element, a bonus element, let's say the fourth element that you have to consider. In my opinion, it's the experience that you're gonna get and the satisfaction and all of that. So when you buy, yeah, you're happy. I mean, once you bought it, nice, cool. It's like anything in life, right? When something is easy to get, you are satisfied, you're happy. But very often, if the road is hard, you become happier. Maybe not during the moment. But so that's where I say, like, buy and building it, like you're gonna be semi-happy, because you are gonna put effort to maybe go and talk to them, to check, to brainstorm everything that I've said. But in my opinion, which is gonna be the most satisfying, is when you build it yourself. Now, of course, I mean, once it's all finished, because I do realize, and I already went through many emotional roller coasters. So it's a hard road. It's a long road. It's not all just easy and romantic. Like most of the people that I know, they're like, because I bought my truck in September, so I got my driver license, C truck license. I'll also make a video on that in July 22. And then in September 22, I bought my truck. And so now I'm actually thinking about all the design, right? Now, but many people think, oh, nice, you bought it. And so we're 3 months later and they ask, oh, how is it living in your truck? And I'm like, guys, I'm not living in my truck yet. Like, I didn't build anything yet, except for the cardboard boxes. With cardboard boxes, I made my design inside. So it is a long process. And I did ask myself already many times, like, why didn't I buy something, or why didn't I pay somebody to actually make it for me while I was crying? So it's not an all happy romantic journey. However, I do feel that drive and that vibe of like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna do this. I'm actually gonna build my truck myself, my tiny house. And I know that once it's finished, I'm gonna be so happy, I'm gonna be so proud, and I'm also gonna laugh so much every single time that I probably see some of the closets which doesn't properly closed because of my mistake or miscalculation or whatever it is. But I think that's all part of the process, right? I do believe life doesn't need to be perfect, and I think the beautiful things in life are mostly those things which are not perfect. If you made something yourself, you're gonna be super proud you made yourself. If you can explain stories to people, or you're gonna listen to other people's stories about how they built their truck, like, that inspired me already so much the past months, the past years, since I've been like looking and talking to people, looking to vans and talking to people about, wow, did you do it yourself? So I do believe that building it yourself is gonna get you the most satisfied feeling ever, because you made it yourself. But of course, again, it all depends on you, your decision. If you only want to take your van out for a little weekend, then maybe consider buying it, because you're not gonna living in it all the time, as I will do full time. So but these were basically, yeah, consider those different options. Think about it. Think about money. Think about time. Think about learning curve. And also about your feeling you're going to have towards your vehicle. And yeah, I wish you all the best. And let me know in comments as well what you decide to choose, if you have any questions. And of course, subscribe to my channel, ER on the Road, for more information on converting a van / a truck. I'll see you. Bye.